being an African marine scientist, being born in Tanzania, it is not so common seeing people like myself. I just found myself there. I remember crying. I'm so lucky, I can say, that I have had opportunities of having exposure.
Despite being one of the few marine scientists on the continent, Nancy Iraba could hardly swim. The Tanzanian National Geographic explorer founded Aqua Farms, a marine conservation organization where she also works as the underwater program lead. 2 years ago, Nancy took diving lessons and in a few months was certified as a dive master. She's currently working to protect the country's marine ecosystems, including the restoration of thousands of coral reefs in Tanzania, where 11 out of 25 regions in the country's mainland are found in the lake zone and the coast. Start off by talking about your journey from a non-swimmer to a dive master in just 3 months. That's truly remarkable. Could you share with us what inspired you to embark on this journey and how it has shaped your career as a marine scientist and conservationist?
Okay, so first of all, being an African marine scientist, being born in Tanzania, it is not so common seeing people like myself desiring to do ocean sciences or to venture in opportunities or careers in ocean sciences. So I initially wanted to become a medical doctor, but it was during a time in which the Tanzania Commission of Universities, they were placing, basing on the need. So marine sciences was an emerging career, so I just found myself there. I remember crying. I remember telling my dad, what am I going to do with this career? And then he encouraged me and said that opportunities are emerging, why don't you just go and see what lies ahead? And then as I was taking that journey, I'm so lucky, I can say, that I have had opportunities of having exposure. Like I was in 2017, I got a chance to be on board the Gallas research cruise ship, and we were collecting samples from off the coast of Southeast Africa. And I remember questioning myself because everything I saw in that ship was so amazing. First of all, the senior scientists whom we were mingling with, they were the scientists in which they were specializing in different areas in the ocean, from crabs, from corals, and it just showed me how small I was and how the ocean, how big it was. So I decided to pursue my master's in marine sciences. But as I was studying marine sciences, again, I came to realize that despite Africa having exceptional coastline, again, only a small proportion of African marine scientists could swim or dive, which actually limited our ability to explore and study the marine environment. So I started to desire, being underwater. I remember even when I used to go to my Instagram, I started seeing people diving, like, those were people are not even of my color. Then I was wondering, like, who are the role models? And then I think the stars just aligned, and one day in a Zoom call, I was giving a talk regarding ocean decade, and Noel Koch, the executive director of NUF, was there, and I remember he asked me, Nancy, can you swim? And I was wondering whether should I tell him the truth or should I lie, because already my branding, I'm a marine scientist, so it is expected of me to have been inside the ocean to know how to swim. But I told him that I can't swim, and I told him the facts, that it is actually a reflection to about 90%, of my locality. And Noel took a chance on me, so they were preparing a lab known as the New Decade Dive Master Storytelling Lab, where they were taking 10 women, 8 from South Africa and 2 from East Africa. So I was lucky enough to be taken to that lab, and that lab was ending in 3 months. So I had to learn everything from the scratch, and and in 3 months, it was really after a toil and hard training. We went from being a non-swimmer to a dive master. I don't know if I can say that is in a nutshell, but that's the story.
Absolutely. So you're the co-founder of the underwater program,
yes,
at Aqua Farms organization,
yeah,
right? Can you tell us more about your work in restoring coral reefs, particularly the methods you've employed and the impact you've seen?
Okay, yeah, sure. So soon after becoming a dive master, I was lucky enough to land a job in the northern part of Zanzibar, in Mnemba Island. So with Mnemba, I learned a lot about issues about coral reefs, and I did my training there about coral reef restoration. And then when my contract ended, I went back to the organization. So Aquafarms, I'm also amongst the co-founders. So I started the underwater program in 2021. So as I was pioneering the underwater program, so we identified areas in Tanzania, in the southern coast, in which they needed corals to actively be restored. But again, for me, it's very important, my work, to be connecting with people. So I question myself, how can I connect with people and also have an impact? We're coming to an impact, not only the ecological impact of how much area I've restored, but also people impact. Then it went back to my story that as marine scientists in my localities, they lack these hands-on marine conservation skills to do deep water research. So through the underwater program, I created an internship program in which every year I take marine graduates, about 4 to 6, and they get their dive certification with our partnership with NUF, and after that they contribute in the coral restoration, in which the impact which I have seen is that most of these youngsters who have worked with us, they have gained hands-on skills, and after that they have went to be employed in local and international marine organizations, something which is not so common before.
Now, climate change obviously poses a challenge to marine ecosystems in Africa and worldwide. How do you see your work, particularly in coral restoration and climate resilience research, contributing to addressing these challenges, specifically in Tanzania?
All right. So, for instance, like in Tanzania and even Africa at large, when we speak about coral restoration, it's an emerging field. It's a field that still needs to pioneer a lot of research. So what we are also doing is we have combined the restoration together with studying climate resilient corals, because we believe in the face of climate change, we need to know what species can withstand high temperatures, so that at the end of the day we can have some sort of knowledge exchange, and we can pioneer those species so as we can be in the age of the hope of saving our ecosystems here.
And finally, I want to talk about your engagement with the community or community empowerment, which seems central to the theme in your work. How do you engage with the local communities in Tanzania, and what strategies do you employ to ensure that their participation and support in marine conservation efforts?
Okay, so first of all, through the organization which I co-founded, Aquafarms, for us, our main theme is using community-based approach in all the programs and the projects which we conduct. So it is at the heart of every project. And also how we ensure participation is by engaging the community from the start, from the designing of the project. So it's not like we go to the community and tell them this is what you need, but otherwise we sit with them in one table and we plan and we co-design together in order to deliver. And we have found that having tremendous results, because at the end of the day it creates sense of ownership to them, and also it brings immense results and impact to us.